Good morning.
Who is V exactly? Why are his demons lending him their power? What motives do they have to take out the Demon King? And why does he need the help of Dante? Hey, what's up good people, it's YellowMotion here and welcome to a new Devil May Cry 5 video. Ever since we got the reveal of DMC5, we also got to know a new third playable character, the mysterious V. And ever since then there have been a lot of ideas, theories and speculation going around on who V really could be. So what do I have to say about this and what do I personally think? And of course, who he potentially really is behind the tattoos. Well, in this video I'm going to tell you just right that and share with you my thoughts and opinions on what I think and believe V's motives are and what his endgame is in DMZ5. And before we start guys, make sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell to keep up to date with more DMC5 content. Alright, without further ado, let's get right into it.
This is a trial from the heavens above.
So who is V really and what are his true motives? Well, to answer that question, we have to see what we know about him so far and what makes the most sense. And of course, this is just my speculation guys, and I could be totally wrong on this. But it's after all, my personal opinion and speculation. What we know so far is that V is the one that approaches Dante and asks him to help, to take down the powerful demon that is about to resurrect. V is of course talking about the Demon King. So V is pretty much the one that has all the insights and is the one that triggers the story for both Dante and Nero.
V, why don't you tell me everything about this job?
V is just like Dante and Nero, a demon, but not as powerful as them, as he doesn't have a lot of demonic powers, and his health therefore is more human-like than compared to Dante and Nero. That's why his powers come from his tattoos, where his three demons reside, Griffin, Shadow and Nightmare, that do the fighting for V. So V originally has white hair and no tattoos at all on his body. So why does he approach Dante, and why does he need especially his help to take out the Demon King? Well, to understand that, we need to have an idea of who V really is. There are many possibilities, but in this video I'll just talk in depth about one of them, to who he could be and tell you why. Now I'm not saying these theories could be all wrong, as all have some great potential into it, but I'm just gonna say which one I think is the most logical and which one I do personally believe that is the most appealing that I want to talk about in this video, as after all we will see how it will turn out in the game, and as long as the game has a great story, that's all that matters to me. To start off, I don't think that he's a puppet or a minion of the Demon King, since after all, he seeks Dante to help him to take out the Demon King, and that contradicts each other, unless this could be all part of a plot twist. Nor do I think that he is the son of Dante and Lady, but it's been confirmed for a while now by the director Hideaki Itsuno that Dante and Lady aren't dating and don't have a relationship going on with each other. I also don't think that V is Virgil himself, and by that I also mean a reincarnation of him, as I'm pretty sure this hooded man right here is Virgil, and I made a very long in-depth video just talking about that. And lastly, although I don't think V is Mundus himself, I do wholeheartedly believe that V is in some way somehow created by Mundus, and I'll tell you exactly why. I think that V is the creation of Mundus himself, and by that he is created to do his bidding behind the scenes, to accomplish his mission in order to bring back Mundus. But for that to happen, there is one big problem, and that's the Demon King himself, as Mundus isn't as powerful as the Demon King. It's already been confirmed since the beginning that the Demon King himself was already stronger than Mundus, so it's no use to go head to head with him, and therefore Mundus brewed a plan and created V just to handle that for him. So V somehow needs to take him out so that Mundus can take over the throne and rule the underworld, as he once did before. And not only that, but also taking over the human world, as he once wanted to accomplish that back in DMC1. As after all, in DMC1, it was Dante that sent Mundus back to the underworld by sealing him away, and Mundus vowed to Dante that one day he would return to rule this world.
Dante, I will return. And I will rule this world!
So let's assume that Mundus wants to kill the current Demon King and wants to take over the throne. But he can't do that alone and isn't even in the position to do so. It could mean that Mundus is still weak and doesn't have the possibility to fight, so he needs help. And for that, V approaches Dante and offers him a job to take out the Demon King.
A powerful demon is about to resurrect and we need your help, Dante.
as that's why Dante sets out with Lady and Trish to accomplish that. But on their way, they fail and the Demon King is far too strong for them. As we see that Dante takes on him, but loses to him. Even his rebellion sword gets broken, as he's just too powerful. Now, while V already has visited Dante and told him about the job, for some reason, V also meets up with Nero and lets him know the location of the Demon King as well. As I assume that V pretty much tells him that it's the Demon King that's responsible for Nero not having an arm anymore. Yes, just when Nero's arm is ripped off by the hooded man, which I believe is corrupted Virgil, V tells Nero who is responsible for it by letting him know the location that will lead him to the Demon King.
V って言ったか。妙なやつだが今は従うさ。
I've got to score to settle that son of a bitch.
So it either seems that V had planned this all from the beginning, or he just thought that 2 demon hunters would be better than 1 to take out the Demon King himself. But neither Dante or Nero are matched for the Demon King, as it all seems child play for him, and beats them easily, and by that also destroying Dante's rebellion sword. And even Dante acknowledges that this was a bad move.
Hey, get out of here! This is a bad move! Go! You're just a reach!
So look, I do think that V has a special deal going on with Mundus, which is why also V's familiars have no problem to help V, since they after all serve their real master Mundus. And V's demons are none other than the ones that appeared in Devil May Cry 1, as they were all created by Mundus as well and were doing his bidding to destroy and kill Dante.
Are you the human, the son of Sparta who challenges the darkness, Mundus?
Block off, Featherface, or you can stick around and find out the hard way.
But I know what you're thinking. Are they really back? Are they really created by Mundus? And are they the exact same Griffin, Shadow and Nightmare that Dante once fought and killed decades ago back in Devil May Cry 1? Well, sort of yes, they're back now, and I do really think that they are created by Mundus again. But I'm not saying that they are the exact same ones as in DMC1, as after all, Dante killed them back in DMC1, and it's no problem for Mundus at all to recreate demons that he already created once.
If you need a mother, I can create it. As many as you want. Just like I created Trish.
So it would make absolute sense for him to create another Griffin, Shadow and Nightmare to help and assist V in his master plan to come back and rule the human world. And as mentioned, V is a demon, but he doesn't have a lot of demonic powers. And that's also one of the reasons that V has his familiars with him, so that they can help V by doing the damage, while V only does the killing.
You and I like to exist, so get rid of those demons quick, cause killing them ain't my stick.
So with all of this, why would V help Mundus in the first place? Well, since I assume that V is created by Mundus, V simply follows orders. You know, just like Trish, that is also created by Mundus, followed orders.
Yes, Master.
And just like Trish back then, where she came to Dante and told him about the powerful Emperor Demon would return, she pretty much convinced him to go to Malay Island in order to Dante take down Mundus himself, and is pretty much being the one that triggering Dante's interest in accepting the job and finishing it.
Mundus.
Yes. His powers were sealed by Sparta. He's attempting to gain control of the human world once again. He has been preparing to open the gate on Malay Island.
But in hindsight, this was all a setup so that Mundus could lure Dante and kill him.
My name is Trish. I came here to seek your help, to put an end to the underworld.
A powerful demon is about to resurrect, and we need your help, Dante.
Pretty similar, right? And Mundus' demand to V could have been very simple as to do this thing for me or I will simply destroy and kill you, just like I created you. The same way as Mundus was ordering his army of demons around to kill Dante in DMC1. If they would fail, Mundus had no problem at all in killing them, as they all faced their punishment.
Master, Mundus. Griffin, you have failed me. You are no longer worthy.
Mundus. His heinous ways make me sick, killing even his own, like they were nothing.
The same way goes for V's familiar demons, as Griffin at one point says to V,
Okay, Shakespeare, just remember this. You and I like to exist.
Griffin essentially could mean that if they both don't want to die, they better work together to pull the job off, or else it will be bad for the both of them. And that's why I think he says, you and I like to exist. So how can I be so sure that Mundus will be in DMC5 at all? Well, it's not the first time that I've talked about Mundus in my other DMC5 videos, as I always expected him to return in the game as the true main villain and not the Demon King himself that we have seen in many trailers. Because just like I said, you just don't show your final boss in all of your trailers. There has to be a plot twist. And even before V's true reveal, I was already sure we would see Mundus somehow back in DMC5, as when DMC5 was announced, Capcom stated the following by saying that the supernatural family drama also continues as Dante, the son of Sparta, seeks revenge for his brother's corruption and mother's murder. And that regarding to Dante to me is none other than Mundus himself, as after all, he was the one that orchestrated the death of Eva, Dante's mother, and he was the one that corrupted his brother Virgil and made him his Dark Knight Michelangelo to serve and to do his bidding.
He's the one that took the life of my mother, my brother, Shirley. In the name of my father, I will kill Mundus.
And now with V's reveal, it also seems that more hints are there that show and tell that Mundus will be back and he has many ties with V in DMC5. First, it's V's familiars, Griffin, Shadow and Nightmare, that are all the original names and the creations of Mundus, and now they're back in DMC5. That to me is the biggest hint. Second, there's V's team battle called Crimson Cloud, as the name is a direct reference to Mundus himself, as he often appears in clouds with his triple red eyes, both in DMC1 and in the ending of DMC3, when he fights Virgil. When V introduces himself, V says,
A powerful demon is about to resurrect and we need your help, Dante.
as he says we and not I. He doesn't show his familiars, so that's already a hint to him implying like, hey, I'm working for another person, I'm working for Mundus. And when V introduces him, he says,
I have no name. I am but 2 days old. Just kidding. You can call me V.
Well, it's a direct quote from William Blake's Infant Joy poem. It could also mean that V is newly created by Mundus and doesn't have a real name. He is pretty much an experiment, as he is the Project V of Mundus. And third is that Hideaki Itsuno, the director of DMC5, has stated recently in a Korean interview the following about V and his demons, as he hinted that Shadow and Griffin both are the demons from DMC1, and the same could be said for V. Of course, he didn't say much to spoil it, but the fact that Itsuno says that he's from DMC1 already is enough that V has ties with Mundus, and therefore could be created by him. So the way I see it is that he would seek out Dante's help, but it didn't turn out as planned, as he would have hoped, as Dante loses and his rebellion sword gets broken by the Demon King, and nor could Nero do something about it, so the Demon King is still alive and V has to look for another way to take him down, and that's why I think the Sparta sword comes into play, to somehow use its great powers to do the work himself, or maybe to even hand it over to Mundus. We see that he has acquired it.
The Devil's Sword Sparta is nearby.
There's not much ground and info about it to see how this can play out story-wise, but I think that the Sparta sword will play a major role in DMC5, as just like in DMC3 and DMC4, it's been the main objective and sought out by the main villains of the game, to grant them demon powers and to rule the human world. But a sword just doesn't give power and accepts its user when needed, as it has been shown and proven both times that it accepts people with a good heart, as after all is the sword of Sparta, the man who rebelled to his own kind to save the human world. And he pretty much made sure that even when the sword would get in the wrong hands, the full potential and powers of it couldn't be unlocked.
The power of Sparta! Why won't you give me strength? Am I not worthy?
Never could take those legends too literally. But I do know that Sparta had a heart. A heart that can love another person. A human. And that is what you lack.
So with that, why is that V seems to want to kill Dante? After all, didn't he need the help of him to take out the Demon King? So why the change now? First, let's see what happens. We see that Dante is all covered in blood. There seems to be a massive battle has been going around where he is severely damaged but still alive. I don't think he would have been fighting V since V seems to be untouched here. But I do think that V is the one that finds him and the Sparta sword, and thereby is very tempered with anger and emotion and tries to kill him for a reason that we don't know yet. As we can see that he's showing that with his emotions and saying,
Dante, if only you never existed.
But somehow he hesitates in the process, and you can see that on his face. Then he finally raises his hands and it seems that he wants to pierce through Dante. And just when it's about to happen, the screen turns into black. Now I think that the scene itself that we see here has a lot of misdirection going on. Then we see that V raises the sword, but if you look closely, he closes his eyes, and we don't see him actually piercing through Dante with a sword. But the trailer is making it look like the sword is impaling Dante through the eye. But if you look very closely, we can see that the sword itself stays in the air in the corner, and only the camera zooms in.
Don't do it, V! No!
But let's just assume this. Why does V want to hurt Dante in the first place? Well, as I do think that at one point, he really wants to be free of Mundus and don't want to do anyone's bidding. Remember, over time, just as Trish was following the orders of Mundus, she then developed her own will and made up her own mind to disobey Mundus and fight alongside Dante. I think that something similar will happen to V as well in the game, where he thinks about what he's doing, and even if he's doing the right or wrong thing, as this could develop V as a character throughout the story, where he interacts with Nero, Dante and the other characters as well. And as mentioned before, if the theory is right that V is created by Mundus and has a deal with him going on, to use Dante to kill the Demon King so that Mundus can be free and rule the human world, then this could mean that V is implying that if Dante never would have existed, V wouldn't have to be created as well, and he wouldn't be doing anyone's bidding and pretty much be controlled and be anyone's puppet. Maybe that's where the anger comes from.
If only you never existed.
Then don't do it, V! No!
With Griffin panicking all of a sudden, it could mean that V could ruin everything in a second by killing Dante right now, since Griffin knows Mundus needs Dante to finish the job, because without Dante, the chances of defeating the Demon King slims down, and Mundus wouldn't be able to take over. That's why Griffin panics, as if he's saying like, don't do it, V, or it will be all over for the both of us.
Don't do it, V! No!
But there's also something very interesting about this scene that changes the dialogue and the meaning behind it. You see, there is a difference with the Japanese translation of this sentence, as the translation says, Dante, if you didn't lose, I would be. To me, this clearly means that if Dante didn't lost against the Demon King, all would have gone according to plan, and V would have been free by now of Mundus' bidding. That's how I see it. But one way or another, whether Dante wouldn't have existed, or he wouldn't have lost against the Demon King, I think it clearly shows that V has an identity crisis going on, between obeying and following the orders, or choosing his own will, and decide what he wants to do himself. As with both Trish and YellowMotion have proven that if Mundus creates something, it's not 100% perfect, as each one of them can do and decide what they want, if a certain trigger allows them to change by experience. With Trish being that she wasn't killed by Dante after she betrayed him and wanted to kill him. That allowed her to change and be on Dante's side, and not to serve Mundus anymore.
Dante!
Don't come any closer, you devil! You may look like my mother, but you're nowhere close to her! You have no soul. You have the face, but you'll never have her fire!
You two have nailed me, Trish. You know the rules.
And with YellowMotion, it was Dante's amulet that triggered Virgil's memories and allowed him to come back for a moment and resist, as he didn't kill Dante and fled away. So, in the end, will V be the bad guy? To me, it's very clear that he's on a mission and pretty much obeying his master to take out the Demon King so that his master Mundus can be free and take over both the human and the underworld as the true ruler. And V knows that if he fails his mission, Mundus will simply kill him. And that's why he has a duty to see this through no matter what.
I have a duty to see this through.
And you need to see this through. Dante's war.
But like every game, there has to be some kind of plot twist. As I do think that at one point, of course, the Demon King will get defeated. And when that happens, that's when Mundus will appear.
What's happening now?
And if everything goes according to plan, he would most likely betray V and want him to kill him anyway. With this, V could be very surprised by everything and decide to rebel against him while he's still alive, as he's got nothing to lose by choosing to be on Dante and Nero's side. As this close-up of him shows that he's almost out of power and it seems that his familiars aren't with him anymore, and he's pretty much doing the last thing he can to save maybe Nero and Dante from Mundus, probably to redeem himself to everything that he has done to Dante and Nero, and pretty much lied to them. And lastly, let's also see this kind of outside the box for a minute. Since V is the third playable character, there was really no doubt in my mind that he was eventually going to be a good guy in the end. So even though V will start out very devious with his malicious motivations, I think that he will eventually turn on the side of Nero and Dante, as that's how I pretty much see it for now. And there you have it, guys. This was my theory and analysis video about V. I hope you had a good time and enjoyed the video. What do you guys think of who V is? Could he really be the creation of Mundus? Or is he just Mundus himself? What do you think his motives are for seeking out the Sparta sword and trying to kill Dante? Or does he really want to kill Dante? Will he be a bad guy? And what is his true endgame in DMC5? Do you agree or disagree with my points? Well guys, jump into the comment section below and let's have a great discussion with each other by leaving your own thoughts, theories and speculations. And remember guys, it isn't about being right or wrong, just sharing your own views and opinions with each other based on your own arguments that you have. And while you're here guys, why don't you like and share this video, as it helps me greatly, and become a subscriber to my YouTube channel. And you can also find me on social media simply at YellowMotion, and on Instagram as well at YellowMotion Gaming. Alright, that'll do it for me for this one. Once again guys, thanks a lot for being here and thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you guys in the next Devil May Cry 5 video. Peace!